thanks for checking out my video on why you should consider getting a home inspection prior to listing your home. I'm putting out new videos on living in and buying or selling homes in Southwest Washington every Thursday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell on so you know when a new video is posted. Also, check out the link in the description if you want me to send you my home inspection checklist for free. So, you have a house to sell and you're trying to decide whether to have it inspected before putting it on the market. Home inspections aren't cheap. They are usually around $400 in Clark County, so I don't blame you for thinking about skipping this step. But I will encourage you to think hard about having a pre-inspection done so that you can make an informed decision. Let's dive in. Why should you have a pre-inspection? First and foremost, a pre-inspection will give you a heads up on what repairs a buyer is going to ask for. AKA, it prevents you from being blindsided. You may think you know what you're going to net from selling your home when you accept that offer, but I'm telling you, the biggest place that I see sellers lose money is on negotiating repairs. When hit up for a big ticket item during the inspection negotiations, most sellers feel like they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you say no and risk going back on the market? Or do you cough up the money for the repair and live with never knowing whether you got the best deal for your house? Most sellers don't want to go back on the market after being pending. It's not a good look, and buyer's agents are going to ask why the sale failed. Buyers may think you're desperate to sell and lowball you. Then, what if you end up accepting a lower offer and also have to make the repair anyway? Having a pre-inspection prevents you from being blindsided and gives you some leverage during the negotiation process. Secondly, you can decide beforehand and have some control over what repairs you will or will not do. There is something glorious about making a decision not to do a repair before you're in the heat of the moment. During a real estate transaction, stress levels are high, and sometimes it can simply be hard to think straight. I encourage my sellers to make these big decisions about repairs before things get stressful, as you'll be able to make a decision in a calm manner and not in a high-pressure situation. If you know the roof needs to be replaced, but you just don't have the funds to get it done before listing, that's fine. We will just price the home accordingly, make a note in the listing for agents to see, disclose the status of the roof, and that the buyer will need to repair after closing. And then we're off to the races. Expectations are everything, and if the buyer knows going into the offer that getting you to replace the roof is off the table, then 99.9% of the time it is not going to be a problem. I reserve that 0.01 chance because there are just some people that are plain crazy and refuse to be reasonable. Third, it indicates honesty. Many home buyers are a nervous wreck. What I like to do when I'm listing a home is to let buyer's agents know that we had a pre-inspection done and I'm ready to send it out upon request. I also keep a file of documented repairs. What are buyers most afraid of? The unknown, and buying a property that needs repairs that they cannot afford. Being upfront with them about the status of the home systems, safety, and issues immediately makes them feel more comfortable. It signals to buyers that you are honest and transparent with nothing to hide. Last but not least, home inspectors are people, and people are not perfect. What if the buyer has their own inspection done, which they probably will, and their inspector calls out something that your inspector didn't see as a problem? Well, guess what? Now we have two opinions to take into consideration. The more information, the better, and having your inspector stand by his or her assessment can be powerful in the moment when you need that expertise. Do you know what is not fun? Having 3 days to give a response to the buyer's request for repairs and not having an expert in your corner to give you their opinion. Yes, we can scramble for bids or further inspections, but that all takes time, and usually contractor schedules are further than 3 days out. Again, this gets very difficult. Let's avoid that frustration and plan ahead by having a pre-inspection done, please. A few more things before I let you go. Let's quickly review what a home inspector is going to look at. Appliances. They are going to run the dishwasher, check the oven, burners, microwave. You get the picture. Usually they do not run the washer dryer, as those are considered personal property and may or may not be included in the home sale. Systems. They are going to check your circuit breaker, outlets, and electrical system as a whole. They will run your furnace, check the filters, and note if it needs maintenance. An inspector will run your AC to make sure it's working. Plumbing, they're going to check all your faucets and note any leaks that are obvious. They might note little things like cracked grout or nail pops in the drywall. If there are stains in the drywall from water, they're going to ask you questions about that. Structural, an inspector will climb up onto your roof to look at the granulation of the shingles and check out the vent boots. They will assess your foundation system, look for cracks or settling issues. They're going to look for failed or cracked windows, damaged siding, anything that may be rotting or broken. They're going to go down into your crawl space and note any standing water, and up into your attic to look for pests, mold, or leaks. They are going to give you a heads up if they see any rodent activity in your crawl space, in your attic, or other pest issues on the inside or the outside of your home. In regards to landscaping, they may point out that a tree branch is hanging too low or close to your roof, or that shrubs need to be cut back from the siding. Some inspectors will know if the crawl space vents don't have wells dug around them, or if there is a drainage issue in the yard. Okay, I lied. I have one more thing to talk about. Additional inspections. If you have any additional systems that are outside the inspector's realm of expertise, then this is going to come up with a buyer, and you might as well be ahead of the curve. For example, if your home has a septic tank, then you need to get it pumped and may as well get it maintained at the same time. Keep records on this because the buyer is going to ask. If you're on a well, then the buyer will usually need to get a pump test done as well as a water quality test for their lender in financing. I actually don't have sellers take care of this beforehand because the bank cares about the chain of custody and you are not a neutral third party. So just be aware that someone is going to come run your well pump for about 2 hours at some point once you're under contract to see how good the flow rate is, and they're going to need to sample that water to get it tested. Radon tests are becoming more common and many buyers are having them done. You can buy a kit at Home Depot for relatively cheap and find out what the radon levels are like in your home. Depending on the age of your home, you may have a radon mitigation system already installed. The radon kit will tell you whether or not that is working or if radon is an issue in your area. I've never had a deal fall apart because of radon, so I wouldn't worry too much about this additional inspection. Okay, that's it. I hope this video helped give you some things to think about and helped you make a decision about whether or not to have a pre-inspection done before listing your home.